letting someone else think for us. This is how free societies die. Hi, this is Peter Hislop, and this is yet another Shift podcast. A few months ago, I had a nightmare. No, not a metaphor, not a psychological symbol, a true sweating in the dark, heart-slamming nightmare. I dreamt the bank declined my loan. And in the dream, God help me, I said calmly, "That's all right. The system knows best." And when I woke, I felt something cold slide through my chest, because I've lived through systems that failed me, systems that looked me in the eye and said, "You don't matter." I've lived through homelessness, through addiction, through violence, through the collapse of everything that pretended to be stable. I've lived through the kind of darkness that teaches you one thing and one thing above all: never surrender your mind. Not to a person, not to a question, not to anything. And yet here I was dreaming my own obedience. It was the real horror, not the bank, not the loan, but that little quiet sentence, "The system knows best." I woke not terrified of the dream, but terrified of the world that made the dream possible. Every major institution, banks, governments, insurers, has embraced AI with a desperation of someone grabbing a life raft they never inspected. Credit decisions, fraud scores, risk models, even the conversations we used to have with human beings are now handled by well-trained algorithms, wearing friendly emojis like camouflage. And slowly, invisibly, unforgivably, as institutions think faster, citizens think less. Now, let's be fair, it's not out of stupidity, possibly not out of laziness, but because the systems now speak with a confidence that humans no longer feel entitled to challenge. If the bank uses AI, it must be safe, we say to ourselves. If the system decided it, who am I to question? If technology approves, what right do I have to think? This is how free societies die. Not by force, but by the subtle convenience of letting someone else think for us. I've watched people surrender agency before. I've lived the consequences. There is nothing more dangerous. Psychologists called outsourcing the mind cognitive offloading. I'd rather call it the spiritual death of a civilization. We outsourced memory, then navigation, then attention. Now we're outsourcing reason itself. And the darkest part? We trust machines even when they're wrong. Now we have automation bias, the instinct to let the algorithm win the argument because it sounds confident, and we feel tired. We trust institutions because they feel safe. We trust systems because they feel objective. We trust AI because it feels clean. Even as it sweeps our agency into the bin every time we trust uncritically, the thinking muscle decays. At first slowly, then suddenly, then completely. This is not science fiction. This is the timeline we're already in. And I say this as someone who has rebuilt a mind from the ruins. When you lose the habit of thinking, you lose yourself. Think about your daily life. A system declines your loan. Do you question it? An algorithm screens your CV. Do you challenge it? A chatbot gives you advice. Do you interrogate it? Most people don't. Not because they can't, but because they've been conditioned into quiet obedience. If the experts use it, it must be right. If it's wrapped in convenience, it must be safe. If everyone else is going along, who am I to resist? This is how democracies wither, not through violence, but through the anaesthetic of convenience. You don't need a dictator. when you have a dashboard that does your thinking for you. Why do we let this happen? There are 3 reasons that come to me. Firstly, convenience. We worship it like a modern god. Complexity. Thinking feels too heavy. Trust. Institutions adopt AI faster than citizens can understand it. And so we whisper the new national creed. If they're using it, it must be fine. But let me tell you, as someone whose life once depended on seeing through illusions, convenience is not wisdom. Speed is not safety. And trust without questioning is surrender wrapped in a glossy interface. There's something chilling in the air, a shift I feel in my bones. We may be the last generation that remembers life before thinking became optional, before the system decided and humans merely complied. Our children may grow up in a world where asking why is considered rude, unnecessary, or inefficient. So I ask you plainly and directly, what kind of humans do we want to be in a world where machines appear wiser than we do? The ones who nod or the ones who challenge? I know the cost of surrendering your mind. I've lived it. I refuse to watch a whole civilization follow that path. This is not a battle against AI. AI is a tool, a mirror, a test. The real enemy is far more familiar. It's unexamined trust. It's comfort. It's obedience. The temptation to let someone else, anyone else, handle the burden of thinking. But nothing is more dangerous than surrendering your mind, because thinking feels inconvenient. If we want humans to matter, we must wake the thinking instinct back up. We must resurrect the ancient human word, why? Why was this decision made? Why does the system operate this way? Why are we expected to accept without understanding? Because the moment you stop asking why, you sign away your agency, your voice, your humanity, one automated decision at a time. So what do? We slow down. We look again. We question the things we've quietly accepted. We bring debate back from the dead. We reclaim the mind as a territory worth defending, because thinking is not outdated. Thinking is not inconvenient. Thinking is not optional. Thinking is resistance. Thinking is rebellion. Thinking is freedom. And in an age where machines appear to know everything, where institutions would love nothing more than for us to stop asking questions, the most radical act of all is to think for yourself. I'm Peter Hislop, and this has been Shift. If you have enjoyed this podcast, please share it with people you know who are of similar good taste. If you're listening on Apple Podcasts, please leave it a nice review. And if you're interested in finding out more about my coaching and what it can do for you, please visit my website, tolead.com.au.